In this video, I'm going to show you how to refute the argument that plural marriage is wrong because it causes drama. Proponents of this theory point to the fact that one of Jacob's wives, Leah, conceived before Rachel, her sister, did, and that this caused distress to Rachel because, for a time, she was barren. They will also point to Sarah, who was jealous of her handmaid Hagar, whom she had given to Abraham as a concubine, because similarly, Hagar conceived and bore a son before Sarah did. This did eventually lead to Hagar and her son Ishmael being driven away to settle a separate land. Some have even blamed Abraham's plural marriage for the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians. It gets worse. Jacob and his wives had 12 sons, the majority of whom conspired to murder his favorite son. Therefore, polygamy is awful, they will say, because every time it has been tried, it has produced heartache. Okay, so let's run with that theory. Let's just grant that plural marriage causes heartache. Let me introduce you to this couple, Adam and Eve. They're our first parents. The Bible seems to go out of its way, as do proponents of monogamy-only theories, to illustrate that they were monogamous. But their marital bliss did not last for long before it was shattered by rivalry and rebellion among their children. They happened to give birth to the first murderer, which led to schism among their posterity for many generations. So shame on Adam and Eve for having Cain and sponsoring this rivalry that ended in murder. The bitter fruits of monogamy. Oh, and the fruit incident, even before any children came along? Let's not get into that. Let's also look at Lehi and Sariah in the Book of Mormon, because that proves the point too. There is no apparent mention of plural marriage on Lehi's part, yet their two oldest sons turned out to be really bad apples. They tried to murder their brother and their father, and ended up settling in a different land from their brothers and warring with them for most of 1,000 years. Sariah even complained to Lehi about just how bad a hand the Lord had dealt them. The fallout from their offspring and their monogamous marriage has echoes to this day. God is clearly trying to teach us that monogamy is bad, because look at all the heartache and drama that ensued. When I look at Laman and Lemuel, my drama indicator is off the charts. To say nothing of Isaac, whose favorite son was Esau. There is no explicit mention in the Bible that Isaac was polygamous, yet Esau and his brother Jacob and the nations that came from them were bitter enemies. Isaac's wife Rebekah even had to trick her husband into giving the birthright to her favorite child, Jacob. Could the favorite child syndrome and the warring siblings be explained without polygamy even entering the equation? Sarah's fertility issues preceded her husband's polygamy by a long time. Hagar entering the picture only gave her a scapegoat for her frustrations. So at the end of the day, well, it's easy to be critical of plural marriage and claim that it's categorically bad because every account we know of is accompanied by some drama. The truth is, so is every account of anything that ever happened where human beings were involved. If you actually read the accounts of the patriarchs, they are always stories of redemption and reconciliation. There were times when individuals felt low, like when Jacob feared that his son Joseph had been devoured by a wild animal, and when his brothers had sold him into slavery. But Joseph forgave his brothers, and Jacob rejoiced in the end over his sons. Jacob and Esau were reconciled. God blessed Ishmael and Hagar for Abraham's sake. I take heart knowing about the tension, drama, and difficulties experienced by the patriarchs and their families. It tells me that drama does not disqualify an individual from exaltation. These are the best men who ever lived. If the worst thing they ever did was to have a favorite son or a favorite wife, that should put us all to silence. The spirit of adoption welcomes all to enjoy the blessings of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for God said to Abraham, "In thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice." These were men of God, whom God justified and approved of. It's little wonder, therefore, that people attack them so ruthlessly, out of jealousy, anger, or spite. So you can see that the purported standard of drama being evidence that something is bad is really just an argument against existing and life itself. It's really just nihilism. To learn more about the motivations of those who accuse the patriarchs, watch this video.